So the offseason, Dolphins made a lot of moves. You all get Teron Armstead, get your left tackle situated. Tyreek Hill, superstar wide receiver, Cedric Wilson, Connor Williams, Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert in the backfield. Bringing over a new head coach because apparently Brian Flores wasn't the guy. We'll see whether that was the right decision, whether Brian Flores eventually gets another head coaching job. But the Dolphins have really changed this roster. You went from one of the best defenses in the league and still able to maintain that. But then you spent one of the most money in the league on offense. Sport Tua decided to stick with him over the head coach. So the Dolphins are going to look very different. They're going to look very exciting. We see that. Pretty much all the games are sold out now. The training camp sold out within a few days of those tickets going live. So the Dolphins are going to be exciting. They're going to be a lot offense oriented. But what should we go into the season as realistic expectations for this team? That's something that I'm kind of stuck in a little gray area about. We should definitely be in playoff contention 100%. And I do think we should end up making the playoffs, albeit in a very difficult AFC. But am I crazy for saying that it is kind of playoffs or bust, even though it is
a first-year head coach?
Yeah. Am I crazy for saying that?
No. You're talking about a team that has won back-to-back seasons, kept the same defensive coordinator, brought back every single person on defense besides Jason McCourty, added even more depth with Melvin Ingram. And then on the offensive side of the ball, like you pointed out, we shored up the offensive line with Armstead, brought in Connor Williams, who's playing center right now. But from what I've seen in the press conferences with Mike McDaniel is that he's saying that that's more of we want him to play left guard and center so he can play those positions if need be. So it's not really a sure thing that he's going to be at center. It's not really a sure thing he's going to be at left guard because he still has to compete with Kinley for left guard, still has to compete with Dieter for center. So given those aren't really hard guys to go against, but it's still a competition regardless. I mean, even Liam Eichenberg has the orange jersey on today.
Yeah, he did really well. Your brother, your twin, tell me they don't look like. Look at a picture of Liam Eichenberg right now. Look at that face. Hopefully I zoomed in on him. Hopefully I remember to edit that. Tell me that's not Liam Eichenberg. Liam Eichenberg going to his second season, though. We saw the jump that Robert Hunt had from his first year to his second year. He did really well for us. He was really the one guy last year that okay, Robert Hunt, we need him to stay good. And then obviously add pieces around him. Teron Armstead is the juicy piece on the offensive line that is fantastic, good. You have him, you have Robert Hunt as pretty much the only guarantees for this team. Even Teron Armstead could get hurt, so that's something that he's dealt with a lot.
I'm not gonna would.
Teron Armstead, you add Connor Williams. We don't know what position he's going to be, but the offensive line is certainly going to be better. You can't really get worse than 32nd rated passing offensive line, the least amount of time to throw for quarterbacks in the league when you look at both Brissett's numbers and Tua's numbers. You can't get much worse than that. And they've gone out added after let's say, who's the left tackle for the 49ers? After him, that's when you start to argue Teron Armstead amongst a few other left tackles being like the best left tackle in the league. I can see your eyes going because you're still trying to think. And whatever.
I'll get off of that.
We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, we'll figure it out later. But also to add on to the fact of the offensive line, our offensive coordinator is actually the offensive line coach from the Chargers. And from what I saw on Twitter, a lot of the Chargers people were really upset about losing him. And, no one really knows their own coaches like their own fan base.
Especially when you look at those like lower end coaches. Obviously a head coach, we all know Brandon Staley's a smart guy, but I couldn't tell you the Chiefs tight ends coach looks like.
Exactly. But I could tell you that the Dolphins DB coach last year, I thought he should have been the defensive coordinator this year. That's how, but we ended up letting him go because he supported Flores. So now we have Sam Madison and Patrick Surtain as our DB and corners coaches.
Can't really argue with that. Bringing in two former players when you're bringing in a new coach, you have some guys that already know the culture, already know the team. Can't really argue with that decision.
No, not at all. I mean, Sam Madison's been coaching for years with Kansas City. And their corners, I mean, their names don't really pop off on the screen, but they're not bad. They haven't. they don't really play bad. I mean, especially when you already have two of the best in the league, and Xavier Howard being top two corner, and then Byron Jones.
Unless you're talking about Madden.
Unless you're talking about Madden, screw Madden. And then Byron Jones, I put him still somewhere in the top 12. He's not really gonna jump off the screen, but he's gonna get a lot of pass breakups. He has that track star speed, so he'll catch up to you if you run past him. Happens a little bit more than I like, but he got his knee cleaned up, so he should be better this year, I think. Even going back to our third DB, Nick Needham. I mean,
don't you dare bring up Noah Benogany.
Oh, I'm going to.
I see the tracker going down, just going over a whole defensive back unit. I know eventually the name Noah Benogany is going to come out of your mouth, and you're going to say something that I incredibly disagree with.
So Nick Needham,
very good.
Arguably one of the best slot corners in the league.
Did we give him a 3-year or a 2-year?
2-year deal, I believe.
Okay.
Might have been 1 actually, but I really like Nick Needham. He deserves to be paid more, to be quite honest. I'm glad we were able to get him on a discount. And then, competing for the 4th spot, we have Trill Williams and Noah Benogany.
Give me some Trill.
Trill Williams has the only interception so far of training camp, given we're 3 days in. But Noah Benogany, he's also looked really sharp so far. We did see him in 1 game last year where he got mossed multiple times. However, he had pretty good coverage on those passes. He just, got outplayed for the ball.
Just like he has so many times in his career to this point.
His rookie year, he was absolute garbage. I did say that. I said he has potential, and he's young. He was 20 when he got drafted. Now he's 22. He's still really young, really going to be susceptible to bringing in knowledge. And I mean, so far during camp, he's had really good coverage over Tyreek Hill, Waddle. I mean, he's had good coverage. He had a really good pass breakup in the first day, and then today he also had a really good one. He's also, gotten burnt, but that's part of the process.
He has so many times, but I don't want to.
We're not going to get stuck on that.
I don't want to sit here and talk bad about Dolphins players. I do want to focus on the good, and there's a lot, because we've maintained the defense. We kept the defensive coordinator, which was already part of a top 10 defense. Kept, like you just said, all the pieces except for McCourty and Justin Coleman. I think we also
Coleman we re-signed, but he's not going to be competing for the top. I mean, the 4th spot's either going to go to Trill or Noah, either whichever one isn't going to be.
Point is, defense, which is already a fantastic part of the team, something that really we leaned on a lot last year, especially in that winning streak. You maintain all those pieces. You re-sign Ogba. Jalen Phillips is only going to continue to develop. X, of course, is X, one of the best players in the league. Could have been could have been defensive player of the year 2 years ago.
Should have been.
But the offense, which I already have brought up, but really it is the difference maker. You are 1 game away from a playoff position 2 years in a row.
2 years. You
bring in a completely different ideal for this team now. You go from a really rigid and methodical and just not very creative offense, which it was
really limited.
At one point, it was with Chad O'Shea and Ryan Fitzpatrick. It was a decent offense.
It was really pass heavy, but I mean that was just Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Caleb Balazs wasn't going to be your workhorse.
Was he even on the team that year?
I don't remember.
I think it was Kenyon Drake, but for most of the season until he got traded. No, Kenyon Drake got traded 26. Whatever. So
it wasn't good. Basically,
it wasn't a good. I think Gaskin was actually our number 1 back, and then Ahmed was our number 2. And now Gaskin's our number 4, and Ahmed's our number 5.
Yeah, both are potential cut candidates, because you bring in also Sonny Michel, who's won a Super Bowl before. He's not like
2.
He's 2. Yes. Yeah. Because he also won last year with the Rams. I was thinking back to the Patriots days. You have a Super Bowl winning running back who is he was a starting running back in the Super Bowl, probably going to be your 3rd string running back. You bring in Mostert and Chase Edmonds, which provides so much in offense. Chase Edmonds, good pass catching back. Mostert, speed. speed. You get him on the edge, you get him into space, he is flying. We picked up Matt Breida a few years ago because he lost the job to Raheem Mostert. Obviously, Breida didn't do anything for us, but Mostert is the guy that took his spot. And if not for injuries, Mostert was the starting back last year in San Francisco. Of course, he lost it out to Elijah Mitchell once he got the injuries. He's fantastic. Edmonds, the two of them in the backfield, great. We don't even need to speak really on Tyreek Hill. We have a top 5 wide receiver in the game. And if you look at his game with the Chiefs, it really wasn't a lot of go routes.
Yeah.
It was underneath. Here's the ball, Tyreek, do something.
People mistake his role in Kansas City. I believe it was a stupid amount of numbers where he actually caught the ball under 15 yards.
Yeah, most of his routes.
I believe it was like 70% or even something more of his catches were caught within 15 yards of the line of scrimmage. That is a ridiculous amount of numbers for how many yards he gets. That's just how quick he is off the line, how he can get open quickly, get the ball, and turn upfield. And he's also like people will talk about when Patrick Mahomes scrambles, like that's Tyreek Hill can, get open and be the guy or whatever, or just go on a go route and Tua can't throw that ball. Maybe he doesn't need to. If Tua can hit him on that first 15 yards,
yeah.
I mean, and who's going to guard Hill, Waddle, and Gesicki? We haven't even talked about Gesicki.
Yeah, Gesicki, we have no idea what Gesicki's role is going to be in this offense because the tight ends have been so block heavy in the Shanahan offense. And yeah, we haven't seen Mike McDaniel call plays ever, so we don't know what his style specific is going to be. But we know what the tight ends look like in that offense. And Gesicki doesn't fit that mold per se. Durham Smythe, I think, could have a pretty decent year. Now, I don't want to say
he's actually signed to I think it was a 2 or 3 month extension.
He's not like the X factor for the team or he's a difference maker, but Durham Smythe is a guy that can be used a lot now because he has obviously great blocking ability. We saw more and more integrate into the offense last season. We also saw him take some QB sneaks. Like we saw some things with Durham Smythe that lead me to believe he can have a role on this team. Gesicki, I'm not sure what it is going to be, but we know this offense is going to be better. No matter how you paint it, this offense is going to be a lot better than it's been under the entirety of the Flores regime. Flores, defensive-minded, special teams oriented. A lot of our big plays were on defense and special teams, a lot of fake punts, a lot of this and that. Now we have the offense that we hope we can rely on. There is no reason we shouldn't make the playoffs. Eventually, you have to kick the training wheels off. And like last couple of years, you're like, we're developing, we're getting better. If we made the playoffs, it'd be nice. And no, eventually you have to improve. And we have certainly improved in every aspect. Quarterback, up to be determined whether he has improved in the strides he has needed to. Coach appears to be improvement. Offense, without a doubt, improvement. Defense is going to maintain. So if the Dolphins don't at least make a wild card team this year, it is a disappointment to me.
100%. And yeah, it is a tough AFC with the AFC West being stacked. However, they're probably going to knock each other out with having to play each other, twice. So you're going to play 3 of the best teams in the AFC twice. That's a ridiculous amount. And then, of course, besides that, your only real competition outside of the AFC West would be between Tennessee and the Colts. And I think one is going to falter and then the other one's going to succeed like it has been for the past.
Yes. Nobody from that division is going to be a wild card team. The Ravens could be a wild card team, depending on the Browns, depending on Watson's suspension, depending on our boy Jacoby Brissett.
I was counting on the Browns being out and the Ravens winning the division because I don't think Watson's going to play
well with the Bengals. Yeah.
I did forget about the Bengals. So the Bengals and the Ravens are going to be.
There's a few teams in the mix for the wild card, like you just mentioned, of course, out west, whoever the second and third place teams in the division, even the Raiders, who if we sat this point last offseason, we wouldn't have been talking about the Raider potential in the playoffs. And they were, and they did get better. They actually have a head coach now. They have a star wide receiver who hopefully isn't going to kill somebody on the Las Vegas Strip. And then you move into the rest of the divisions. Ravens, at least the most injured team in the league last year. Browns, who knows? Steelers, again, didn't expect to be in the conversation, still made the playoffs. Patriots within our own division made the playoffs, didn't get much better, but they are the Patriots. There is a lot to go around. There are a lot of art. And a dark horse team could be the Jaguars. If everything clicks there, Trevor Lawrence, I expect one day to be a top 5 quarterback still, even though a lot of people have kind of sold their stock on him. I am by no means selling my stock on him. I
sold half my stock.
I am buying more. Like, if you look at his game film from the end of last season, he made clear strides from the first half of the season with a horrible head coach. No other way to put it other than he had a horrible coach, horrible situation, toxic environment, and he still made the necessary strides you want to see in a rookie quarterback, even if the team isn't winning. There's so much in the AFC, but we are too. We're there too. We are a great team. We have a great roster, and if it's not playoffs, I'm going to be disappointed going into this season.
I might get rid of my season tickets if we don't make the playoffs.
Well, there's a line now. There
is a wait list now.
It's close. They are close to being sold out on season tickets for the entirety of this year.
I wonder how many teams can actually say that about their team and not have without winning a playoff game in the last 10 years, let alone the last 20.
Yeah, no. Probably not. Like, teams that definitely sell it every year now. Like, there's obviously the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Packers. Like, there's a decent amount of teams that are for sure there, and the Dolphins are knocking on that door. But first, we need to see the results. Then the excitement can really fully, truly flow.
And going back a little bit. I know going back actually it's a lot of it, but Mike Gesicki, I think his role in the offense is actually going to be more as a slot receiver. I think he's going to be playing more in the slot and taking reps away from Cedric Wilson. I think that's what his role is going to be because, like you said, in Mike McDaniel or Shanahan's offense, it was a lot of blocking tight ends, and that's why Gesicki, his snap count wasn't high last year. I think he only played like 44% of the offensive snaps. That's not good for a top 5 tight end. And Durham Smythe, he got more reps. I mean, obviously, because he can block better. And that was the thing when they were both drafted in the second round. They were drafted together in the second round. Gesicki was the pass catcher. Smythe was the blocker.
I think Smythe was a 4th rounder. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. But they were drafted together, and that's pretty much what the narrative was. That we drafted the blocking tight end, we drafted the pass catching tight end, and that way we can use them. However, like
still Hunter Long there, who, I mean, we don't expect a lot from. They said that he's made some strides, but like you're not banking your season on him.
Yeah, no. His one highlight play last year made Tua look like an idiot. So
Pick 6, because he wouldn't come back to the ball on the comeback route. Yeah, really made that Jets game a lot more uncomfortable than it should have been. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like we've pretty much covered everything so far with the Dolphins. I mean, it's just we expect them to do something and make it exciting. Like they talked about how they're gonna yak the hell out of teams, and I expect them to. I mean, Waddle and Hill, they're yards after catch guys. I mean, Waddle, he had his air catch yards, I guess you can call, were like one of the lowest in the league last year, and he had one of the top 3 amount of catches.
He broke the rookie reception record, which says a lot on a bad offense.
Given that was also set by Landry.
Well, no, it was Anquan Bolden.
No, Landry broke Anquan Bolden.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure it was Anquan Bolden. I think Jarvis finished just below Anquan Bolden.
Maybe it was.
Yeah. In a bad offense where Tua, had his question marks around and there was nobody else to there's nobody else to take coverage away. He really succeeded. This off topic as a fantasy aspect, it is really weird to try to determine what it's going to look like. I expect both receivers to succeed, but that offense now is so good. It's complete opposite end of the spectrum. before you have Jalen Waddle, like nobody else is taking passes away, but there's also nobody else to cover on the field. Now it's the complete opposite. It's like you have people taking touches away, but they can't double team them ever because you have Hill on the other side, Gesicki, backfield. You have everything. You have so much going on, especially if you spread that offense out.
And if you really want to get deep into it, I mean, beyond Cedric Wilson, we still have some pretty decent receivers. I mean, competing for the 4th, 5th, and 6th spots, we have Mohamed Sanu now, who just signed with the Dolphins, Preston Williams, Lynn Bowden, and then we have my guy from Texas Tech, who I actually wanted the Dolphins to pick. I can't pronounce his last name.
I was going to say, I hope you try to pronounce it because
I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name
or something.
I'm going to call him Easy.
Easy. We'll go with that.
But Easy, he's pretty much a lock for the number 4, but he was solid. I think he could be a really good asset. I think Lynn Bowden, if we go with 6 receivers, is a lock for the roster because he looked so good with Tua in his rookie year. And then last year he didn't play, obviously, because of his hamstring injury. But then this offseason, he's been working nonstop with Tua. So that chemistry is there, is built up. That's why if they carry 6 people on the roster, I think he is a lock for number 5. And it really comes down to Sanu and Preston Williams for number 6. And however, if it doesn't go down, I think if they only do 5, I think Bowden goes because they want the height. Because you don't have the height with Hill, you don't have the height with Waddle.
There's no big body.
There's not a big body go up and catch a receiver besides Gesicki.
Yeah.
And really, you want 1 or 2 of those on your roster, preferably 2. And Preston Williams hasn't really done anything since his rookie year, but he showed flashes his rookie year of being able to go up and just snag a ball, like Devontae Parker, but taller and faster. But
a questionable work ethic.
I mean, I did look at his Twitter. He was modeling in Miami for a swimsuit fucking thing, excuse my language, a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, it's like, I want to see the unicorn going. That's his thing, by the way.
Yeah, that was a little sus.
That's it. That's his emoji. So, you got cheetah, you got the snowman with Holland. But yeah, and we didn't even talk about Holland. But yeah, I expect him to compete, and I think that's why they kind of brought Sanu in, is to push.
Yeah. All good signs, all a lot to like from this Dolphins team, and hopefully we can actually have some happiness by the time January rolls around next year.